Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the fourth official Jelocorp podcast. It's so exciting, the journey that we've been on, the journey that we've had over the past couple of months, being able to engage with our audience, the audience being able to meet with the team, and to really understand and learn what we're all about here at Jelocorp, what we value, what we like to do, what we don't like to do, the tips and advice that we have. Today, we have Guy Adam once again, back by popular demand. Yes, his health tips episode was a successful hit. And he's back to talk to us about more things we can do in our day-to-day office lives and our personal lives to make sure that our lives are in line with health and wellness to the best of its ability. Guy, I'm going to let you take it away.
Hi, Alan. Great to be back. Thank you for having me on the podcast once again. Today, we're going to be speaking about stretching it out. So it's not just, throwing the legs about and hoping for the best. I think in today's society, we are sitting majority of the day. We're sitting for about 8 hours. And that tends to affect our lower back, our hips, even our upper backs. I'm sure we've all felt it. You get stuck in with work. You look up again, it's 4 hours later, and you stand up and your neck's aching, your lower back, everything's sore. So hopefully today I can give you some solutions as to what we can do about this.
I'll tell you now, I've never had any problems personally with my lower back or my legs, but the majority of older working people do have that issue. And I am so excited that I have you here today because 10 years from now, I know that I won't have any issues with my back or my legs because I had that one podcast with Guy. So I'm really, really excited. Kick it off. What else, besides what we spoke about last week, can we do in regard to our health, especially when it comes to stretching it out, like you said?
Cool. So yeah, it will be great. Obviously, hopefully these tips are something we can all use in the years coming. I know we a youthful group, so yeah, hopefully it's something we can put into practice. Well, Alan, if you think about it, for majority of, even if you look back 100 years, we never sat down during the day while we worked. And there's obviously your outliers are a few people, but majority of the individuals were walking around, either working in a factory or doing some type of manual labor. At the end of the day, we are bipedal individuals. So walking around, standing up straight, it is good for us. So that being said, majority of us have a smartwatch or some type of watch, and usually it says, hey, it's time to stand up, move around. So listen to it. That's a good first indicator of, hey, maybe I should get moving a little bit here, get the blood flowing a little bit. Pay attention just to get the blood flowing into like your lower back, your hips, the hamstrings, the legs. If you think how we're sitting now, we're sitting on a couch, our legs are bent, our lower back isn't supported. So just getting a bit better blood flow into those areas can make a huge difference in just keeping those areas healthy and keeping the muscles and the joints nice and smooth.
So, Guy, what can individuals like you and I do, and what can bigger organizations do for their employees and their workforce in making sure that their employees stay healthy and stretched out? And some instances where, people can't stand up all day, right? Or they can't move around all day as freely as others. What would your recommendations be to those companies? What would your recommendations be to those people? And what would your recommendations be for people who work remotely and at home? Because they are there. What would you say to that?
Thanks, Alan. I think with that, it's almost tying into our episode last week with that Pomodoro timing. With that 5-minute break that you get after your 25-minute work, I'd suggest maybe using that to walk around a little bit, get a little bit of fresh air or something else. Companies as a whole, they can look at obviously your ergonomic chairs, making sure there's enough support for the lower back and obviously upper backs, as well as, it would be great in an ideal world, but a standing desk, I know they probably cost an arm and a leg, but if your company is willing, definitely it would be a great initiative and a great additive to moving around and standing majority of the day. Also, what companies can look at, I know some companies do this, not all. It's not ideal for everybody or all companies, but some companies actually have a gym on site or close to a gym, and they create a corporate wellness program where they're able to, basically they say to the employees, cool, during your lunch break, you got an hour to go and either train, or if you want to have your lunch, you can have your lunch. But they give them that opportunity to get that midday exercise, just to move. And obviously the more movement you have, the better your output can potentially be. Secondly, companies can also maybe look at doing like a yoga or Pilates or something like that. Even just once a week, getting somebody into the office or into their space that they are in, and just getting somebody to move, get your people moving. Obviously, it's not always ideal to make things like that compulsory. The people that want to do it will probably see benefits, and the word will spread like that. Instead of forcing somebody to do something they may not be comfortable with doing, let somebody else's testimony basically help them get interested in what the company's doing and what the individual may be doing.
You know, I absolutely recommend all of those, and those all sound so great. And it doesn't take a lot away from the company. A healthy workforce is a happy workforce. A healthy workforce is one that is able to provide more to the business, to the company, and to provide to themselves internally as people, so that they don't feel so terrible about themselves and their backs and their legs all the time. And it's become very popular, especially within the older generation. People are always complaining about their back. Oh no, my posture. Oh, I sit too long at work. So this is definitely a way that those problems can be avoided now, and probably can be fixed. I'm not sure. Can they be fixed? If I already have back problems, if I already have pain in my legs because I'm sitting around all day, what exactly can be done about that, Guy?
Cool, thanks, Alan. Yeah, I think definitely anything can be fixed. Where there's a will, there's a way. Definitely, I mean, just from sitting at your desk, you can make some changes. So there are some stretches that you can do where you don't even need to stand up and move from where you're seated. If you just Google a couple of seated stretches, you can find a good couple stretches that will help you out, especially for the hips and lower back area. I think the one's called a figure 4 seated stretch. That will definitely just loosen up the back, loosen up the hips a little bit, especially being seated for a long time. Secondly, like what you can also do, I know some people are scared of chiropractors, but going for an appointment every 6 months just for a general checkup or an adjustment, or even just going to your GP just a general checkup. Obviously that can provide some good insights into your health, and obviously with a chiropractor or even a physio, they can say, okay, cool, look, maybe your back's a little bit tight, we can do this and this, or your posture's really bad, we can maybe look at implementing this, or they'll definitely give solutions to any of the problems you present to them. So it's definitely something that people can look at doing.
What other tips do you have for us and our audience today?
I think the last couple of tips that I'd probably give is just try and stay active. So like I mentioned, companies have the corporate wellness program where they allow individuals to go and train during the day. I think also if your company doesn't offer that, try and implement that yourself. So get into a good routine of waking up in the morning, going to gym, or even just going for a run. You don't always need to do the hard, heavy lifting to get a result. Going for a run is perfect, but just remember, once you've finished either your gym session or your running or whatever you may be doing, just have a bit of a cool down, have a bit of a stretch. Reason being is, if you've done that in the morning before work, you're going to go and sit for 8 hours. If you're doing it after work, you're going to, most of the time you go home, you sit on the couch, and then you get into bed. So it doesn't give your muscles the appropriate time to recover or the appropriate methods of recovery. So just make sure once you've finished your whatever you're doing, just have a good little stretch. Doesn't need to be long, 3 to 5 minutes. focus on the areas that you worked, and you should be good.
Thank you so much, Guy. This episode and this chat has been truly, truly impactful. I am learning so many wonderful things with each session that we have. And with each session that we've had with all the other colleagues and all the other members of the Jelocorp family and the partners of the Jelocorp group. Now, my extension and my plea to our listeners is don't just listen, but take part in what we're doing. Try it once or twice, even if it's not for you. You don't know exactly how it could impact your life. And sometimes the ideas that we have here are meant to impact your life in a good way. So that's it for me. Guy, in regards to training, in regards to top tips, where can the audience find you?
Again, thanks, Alan, for having me on today. I really am enjoying these chats that we're having. Audience can definitely find me. They can have a look on LinkedIn. Guy Adam should pop up there. Otherwise, on Instagram, Guy_Adam. Either two, you can find me on there.
Great, Guy. Thanks so much. And for all our listeners, thank you so much. We'll be back again next week or the week after. And please don't forget to engage with us. If you have any questions, if you have any specific topics you'd like us to channel or handle, please, please, please reach out. This episode has been sponsored by Zenith Legal Consultants. So you can check them in the link or in the description for all your legal needs.